What's the best animal to come across in an emergency? A yak of all trades. How do you get a yak drunk? With a bottle of cognac. How did the yak almost die? Cardiac arrest.
What do you call a human who makes too many yak jokes?
Hey, I didn't even say okay Google yet.
A yakety yak. Ha 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 ha.
Maybe it's time I downloaded Firefox. G'day art adventurers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christopher and today I am painting Y for Yak, if it was not already obvious. Congratulations to April Rain's Fine Art who was able to guess it. And there's some other cool guesses like a yellow-billed stork and a yellowfin tuna, I believe. And I'm starting off not with line work today, but just going into inks with these guys, the Derwent Graphic line makers. Really fun and light fast pens that are also waterproof. So you can use them for watercolors, which I'm finally doing today. First time in my whole alphabet series. And what's really cool about the set that I got them in a sketchbox, the one that I really hated, but I really like these. I got the graphite gray ones, and I feel like they're really perfect for being able to do watercolor line work because they show, up enough without being overpowering. Because watercolor can be a fairly light medium. You can make it darker as well, and I'll put in a few layers here to darken things up, but oftentimes it has a softer approach, so really strong black lines can be a little bit crazy. Or too much, I should say, not crazy. But then again, art has no rules to do whatever. I often use black lines with watercolors too. I don't know. I just like changes. So you might want to try using these. I don't know, that was a lot longer of a ramble than I wanted to say. So what I'm doing to start off with is to work on the yak, and I'm mostly using my M. Graham watercolors. I got the first one in an art subscription box too. This is really one of the main reasons why when people ask me about art subscription boxes and whether or not they're worth it or if they're overpriced, I think you usually get a decent value for money. I think you get really good value for money with Paletful packs. I've talked about that a lot. But with other ones, it might just be okay or average value. But what's really cool, of course, is that you're exposed to art mediums and art materials that you might not have ever discovered or thought about. Or in my case here, I was already really used to watercolors. I love watercolors. It's probably my preferred medium at the moment and has been since I started taking up art as a hobby. But I'd never tried M. Graham watercolor paints. And wow, they are pretty incredible. Of course, I got a green curse one, I think in an Art Snacks box, because I always must get a green curse, the really vibrant green that you could see in the palette. But then I found a 5-pack set for like $25, I think. And then I picked up 1 or 2 other tubes at Blick's. And I think that's all that I'm going to need to be able to, as you can see, create pretty much all of the colors that I need, except for maybe some burnt siennas or darker colors or darker tones. But for those, I don't really want a vibrant punch. I want darker tones or earthy tones. So when I need those sorts of tones, I've mixed in some of my Holbein paints with this palette. So that was a long way to explain that I'm using watercolors to paint this yak. And of course this little boy, I think, here. It's a Tibetan yak. I think it's a Tibetan yak. The reference that I found anyway was of a yak with all those cool colorful blankets and things on it. And then I looked at a number of others. And then I just had this idea to combine it with a boy that was or a girl, I'm not quite sure, trying to pull the yak away as it's happily munching on grass and not having much success. Because I can imagine they could be quite a stubborn and difficult to move animal if they don't want to go somewhere. And of course the blankets and stuff just are beautiful, and I got a chance to be able to put in a background landscape of mountains. They're always so much fun for me to paint in watercolors. I have some success with the mountains, and some other parts of it it's not the greatest. And I think if I had more time, and I might in the future, I'd go back and fix some of the mountains a little bit. But overall, I end up to a point where I'm happy with it. This letter is also another collaboration today, and it's with the wonderful artist Marcia Furman. I think she's actually called Marcia Furman Art on YouTube. I'll put up her YouTube name here and the card here. I'm not absolutely certain of her YouTube name, partly because she's a YouTuber I actually know in real life. In fact, we met in person almost a year ago exactly after I first moved to DC, and we went to a drawing or sketching event, I think at the Natural History Museum, and that's a great place in DC on the National Mall if you haven't been to it. All of those museums are. But that sketch group is really fun, and yeah, we became friends through that. And after talking, I found out she had a YouTube channel, and she's actually one of the main reasons that it really finally motivated me to start doing YouTube and creating my own content and creating my own videos rather than just absorbing content. So I'm so grateful for her kind of encouraging me in that way, even without her really pushing me to do it. She just talked about why she likes making videos and what she gets out of it, and I decided to give it a go. I think it also helped me that she talked about the fact that she wasn't like a super extrovert. I'm somewhere in between introvert or extrovert, or flip in between it, but I really didn't like the idea of having to film myself at first and feeling nervous and awkward about it. And she talked about having those sorts of challenges as well and being able to overcome it, and it's helped her in a whole bunch of ways. And so I'm super grateful to her input in helping me start my YouTube channel. And of course, I'm super, super grateful, so happy that she's doing this collaboration with me. I'm really excited to see what she'll be painting. I do know what animal she got, but I don't know what her finished artwork looks like. So I'm gonna head straight over and check out her channel after I finish uploading or completing this video. And I hope that you will as well. That would be awesome to show her some love and support. And she's a really great artist and does all sorts of really interesting things. To go back to the painting, I've pretty much put in enough layers for the yak itself that I'm happy with how things are. And I was contemplating maybe another layer, but I'd already spent a bit of time on it. As you can see, this piece is pretty large, and watercolors are just kind of slow to build up layers. And so I just didn't want to spend too much more time on it, and decided to see if I can kind of make it all cohesive at that point by working on the background and the grass. And to finish things off, I bring out my Fine Tech golds, and I use the light gold, I think it is, to put a gold watercolor border around the circle. I'm really happy with that. And then I just edge it with the gray line makers, or the Derwent Graphic line makers. And then that's it for this piece. Thank you so much for the support and the continued comments. I'd love to hear what you think of this one. It was so much fun to work in watercolors again. I was kind of saving it for the letter Z or Z, but I just couldn't help myself, and I felt like this subject matter really would lend itself well to working in watercolors, and I'm glad that I did do it again. It's so good to return back to my favorite medium. And I do have a plan for the letter Z. I'd love to hear what your guesses are for it down below. And I also want to invite people to join me in the letter Z. So I've done a bunch of different collaborations, but here is a chance for anyone to collaborate. If you want to create an animal, just go to Google and say animal starting with Z and draw the first one. You can draw it in a circle or not, it's up to you, but just draw whatever Google first tells you. And you can post it to Instagram with the hashtag theletterzaartadventure, and I'll put that down and pin it as a comment. Or if you're a YouTuber, of course, you can post the video for it. I'm going to upload mine next Thursday, the 28th of February. Nice way to finish the month, even though I thought I'd finish this project in the end of January. It's ended up taking me 2 months. That's okay, better finish than not. And I'd love to see if you post a video as well. You can let me know in the comments below that you've posted a video for it, and I'll create a playlist for everyone to watch. Or, of course, like I said, you can just post it through Instagram. I'd be really excited to see what you come up with. And for me, because I already just checked, Google's given me a really fun animal to work on. So I hope that you'll get one that you like as well. Okay guys, that's it for today. I'd really appreciate it if you give me a like, and if you're new here, to click the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Alright, I'll see you guys soon for another art adventure. Take care.